Hey, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor live on SIFTD.net. It actually came to my attention that while we have plenty of Patreon patrons and YouTube subscribers, we have a very low number of Amazon Prime members who have linked their Twitch Prime account. I know that you guys hate the word entitled, but this stuff actually takes valuable time and effort to put together. If you care about hearing what I have to say, could you please check out the instructions in the show description below and take the 3-click effort to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account? It is free. Let's get to the topic of the week, which is the state of play from Sony. Some would say, wowza, they showed a lot of Japanese cool games, and I love JRPGs, and it's great. And others would say, wowza, they showed Ghost of Yotei for 40 seconds. They revealed a 007 flashback game, young James Bond, and they showed an odd-looking Avengers or Marvel game with 4-on-4 weird battle, and who cares? I think it's about the 10th Marvel game that's been made like that, so I don't even get that one. Look, Ghost of Yotei has been coming for a couple of years. We've known about it. I think Ghost of Tsushima was 5 years ago, so this is a very long-awaited new installment in that studio's progression, and it looks like a great game. It's going to be a great game. It's coming in October. They shouldn't waste state of play talking about a game that was announced years ago and that we knew about, but they did, and they showed us 40 seconds, and that's great. Still coming October 2nd, which is pretty soon, so great, good for them. The 007 game, it's made by the Hitman guys, IO Interactive. James Bond probably plays like that. We'll find out. They're spinning it as young 007, and it made me go back and look, because the first time I ever heard of 007 was in the 60s when I watched the Sean Connery movies. And 007, the first film was Dr. No. That was 1961. It starred Sean Connery. Look him up. He was 31. I went and looked up the book series, and what do you know? James Bond in the first book, which was 1951, was 31 years old. He was born in 1920. So James Bond is a young guy. I guess this is the origin story. So supposedly he's 26 or 7, but you don't, come out of grade school and become a 007, license to kill agent, or 00, I guess it is. You have to probably be college age or older, and likely 25 is the youngest you could be. So I don't think that spin is interesting at all. The only reason that James Bond has gotten older is that we stuck with Sean Connery for a while. I mean, his last one was 1983. I just don't think this spin is that big a deal. With that said, we haven't had a good Bond game in probably forever. I don't know if GoldenEye, I guess GoldenEye was quasi that, but we haven't had a Bond game. I think Activision tried to do it in the 2000s, like 2006, 7, 8, and it just was a disaster. We haven't had one, as far as I can recall, in 15 years or more, and we haven't had a good one in 20 years or more. So, maybe this is a franchise that will survive and thrive. Interestingly, I don't know if the average consumer even knows much about James Bond at all. That whole generation, they're all like 60s and 70s now. They're not in their 20s and 30s. They're not video gamers. We're not seeing the first party stuff that we care about. Sony's had a big, long, dry spell. Ghost of Tsushima was great. Ghost of Yotei is going to be great. But we were used to these guys doing an Uncharted every couple of years, doing The Last of Us every couple of years. And even Days Gone. I mean, they've had good games, over the last decade, and then suddenly nothing the last 5 years. I think that people used to mock Microsoft's lineup. It's not significantly better, but it's still, there's more. And there were times when people would say Nintendo didn't have enough content. Oh my God, they're crushing the other guys. So much more content. So I was actually personally really disappointed in State of Play. Sony is, I think, making a mistake as far as really endorsing and embracing Japanese RPG content. With the JRPGs are great, but they have niche markets, and we're just not getting enough to make owning a PlayStation, worthwhile. What is going to drive PlayStation sales? Grand Theft Auto. Some people will buy it for Ghost of Yotei. A lot of others who haven't bought a console yet are buying it for GTA 6. So I think you'll get a spike in sales in May, but I did not see anything in the software lineup that made me say, I got to go out and buy a PS5. Like, I just don't see it at all. So again, that company appears to me to have lost its way. I think they've done a consumer unfriendly move by raising prices, in anticipation of tariffs globally, and I think that that's a mistake. We are in the 5th full year after the console launch in 2020, and they not only haven't cut price, they've raised price. That's just crazy. They're not selling very many consoles, and the only saving grace is Grand Theft Auto is going to come through and save them. So I think Sony is a company that's completely lost its way. They are kind of quiet, and they don't really talk to investors very much. They're busy, re-engineering their finances by spinning off their financial services division, but they don't seem committed to games. And, Jim Ryan's retired. Shu Yoshida's been forced into retirement. Stud. Herman Hulst has been kind of pushed aside, which I think is a shame. And they've put, a bunch of local Japanese people in charge of everything. And hence, what do you see? Lots of JRPGs. I think they're making a mistake because, notwithstanding that they're a Japanese company and a very powerful Japanese brand, their audience is largely outside of Japan. And, because of the Switch 2 launch, I've been doing a lot of press, kind of talking to the press about the power of the Nintendo brand. And someone asked me a really interesting question. They're like, well, does Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios help Nintendo? And I'm like, I think it helps Universal more. Like, I think the Nintendo brand is bigger than the Universal Studios brand, and the theme park brand. Like, I think Nintendo is so powerful, they help everybody. Sony has lost that. PlayStation used to be this brand that if I said to you video game, what's the first word that comes to your mind? It would be PlayStation. It is now Nintendo. And that's a big loss. And the reason is, even though Nintendo is still a lot of Japanese content, it's their own first party. There's lots of it. It's universally loved. What's Sony talking about? Oh, hey, a 007 game. Hey, a Marvel game, the 15th Marvel game. Idiots. I do not think Sony's doing a great job at all. I do think Grand Theft Auto is going to save them. But honestly, I think the PlayStation 5 is going to die a slow death. I think the PlayStation 6 will sell fewer units than the PS5, and probably, based on how Sony's doing things, cost $800. And wait till you see game prices at $80 across the board. Now, I said all that. You know what's going to happen. You're all going to line up. You're going to pre-order it online. You're going to line up at GameStop to get your PS5 and your copy of GTA. There'll be a bundle. You will camp out for 3 weeks to be the first one on your block to play it, and you pay the $100. But if you really want to make noise, then boycott. That's the way to do it. That's the way to get the message across. Don't make me the bad guy. I'm not. Nobody asked me what they should charge. I'm telling you, they're going to charge you more because they can. And if you're willing to pay it, then they will write. I'm looking for the comments on this. By the way, you're not allowed to comment unless you can post that you've linked your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. We won't accept your comment. We'll delete it immediately unless you post the link and show us that you did it. Come on, do it. It's free, it's easy, and it gives you the right to bitch me out. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net, Pachter Factor Live. You're getting this real time if you're a Patreon patron, a YouTube subscriber, or you have been gracious enough to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. So do one of those things. You're getting it real time. If you're getting this really late and stale, think of this. Link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account, and you can accelerate the process. And it's free. I have one small nit to pick, just because Shane told me about comments on my Randy Pitchford uh, uh, I'm sorry, Randy Pitchford episode. Um, I think $80 is fair. You might think I'm betraying you because, gosh, I'm acknowledging that costs go up for things. I can tell you that real wages have gone up by 80% since 2000, and real prices have gone up by less than 80% since 2000. What that means is your pay has gone up more than the cost of things, so you are wealthier. And when Nintendo raises the price from $50 in 2000 to $80 in 2025, you're looking at a 60% increase in price on something that has cost them way more than 60% more to make, probably 200 or 300% more to make. So, you're getting a bargain. And I know you guys think it's callous, and I'm siding with the man. I'm siding with reality, and reality is your hamburger costs way more than 60% more than it did in 2000. Your movie ticket costs way more than it did in 2000. Housing costs way more than it did in 2000.